This is Beyond the Veil with Norman Meredith.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Beyond the Veil with me, your host, Norman Meredith, and my co-host and producer, Ed.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing today, Ed?
Doing all right. Fantastic.
You ready to start another episode?
Absolutely. What do we got today?
We're going to talk about cryptids of Connecticut.
Interesting.
Yeah, they got a fair amount, and we're going to give a 30-second shout out to Black Dogs because they were part of the equation for Connecticut. But before that, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling now that you had your own encounter here a few weeks back?
I don't know. I'm always a skeptic. Was it an encounter? Was it a bird that flew? I don't know. Could it be a bat? What do you think?
I watched your encounter on a big screen TV, and I watched it 4 times with a lady friend, and it looked like in the down right corner by your truck, it looked like a stealth camouflaged entity was moving along your pavement. And I reviewed it 4 times, and unless it was a camera glitch, it looked like something was stealthed and was moving along your ground. Not walking, but like flowing. And then about the time the shadow occurred.
That's weird.
Very weird. So I don't know if it was a camera glitch or something was actually there.
Okay.
Now, folks, if any of you have watched the last episode where we talked about Ed's shadow, if you all watched that, watch the bottom corner near his truck and rewind it a couple times because you got to watch carefully to see what looks like pixelation going on. It could be a camera glitch or it could be something. And tell us what you think it might be. Who knows? We might have alien predators staking out Ed.
I hope not.
They may be wanting to take you back to the home planet.
Possibly.
You could be their long-lost prince.
Oh, boy. I do need a vacation.
I'll bet. All right. We're going to give a quick shout-out to Black Dogs because that was one of the things mentioned here in Connecticut Cryptids, and we've talked that to death with the New England. So we're just going to give that a quick shout-out and move on. One of the creatures we're going to talk about tonight is the Winsted Wildman, or Winsted, a hairy bipedal creature often described as a Bigfoot-type entity rumored to roam the woods in the northwest corner of the state. Now, I'm wondering if this is not another variation of Bigfoot, and it's just a name for the geolocation where it's being seen. Because, in Florida, you got the skunk ape. In Ohio, you got the grassland monster. Then you got Momo. In Arizona, you've got Bigfoot. You got Sasquatch. A lot of different states have a different name for Bigfoot / Sasquatch, and the list goes on. And so I'm wondering if this is just another name that's due to a geolocation. What do you think about that, Ed?
It could be. There's the Sasquatch guy who's named different things. Again, like you said, geographically, like the Yeti, the abominable snowman, depending upon what it is.
All right, we got 2 more photos here. Let's show them the other one.
There's a color one.
We got a color one there.
Ooh, and then this one here.
And then this one here. Now, that one kind of's got a humanoid face. Now, Bigfoot is alleged to have a humanoid face. Now, different people have reported different things. Some of it looking apish. Some say it's humanoid. Some say a cross. So, it just depends on the witness. And remember, witnesses see... If you have 5 witnesses seeing the same creature, they're going to give you 5 different stories.
That's true.
And there will be a base core of similarity, but because of positioning and all sorts of factors, there's going to be some deviation in what they see. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Next one we got is the Glaucus in Glastonbury. It's a terrifying hybrid described as a mix of a pig and a hyena with long hair and tusks, which caused a stir in 1939 with strange howls and vanished, now believed by some to be a mangy, large dog. You know what that thing reminds me of is one of those Tibetan mastiffs. you know, with the large mane that they have of hair. You ever seen one of those things? Those things are freaking huge.
Yeah.
They look
yeah.
like miniature Shetland ponies.
I've seen like a bull mastiff. Those are pretty big too.
Yeah.
Big body.
Now, I got a little information on this, and accordingly, the Galapagos is one of the fearsome creatures, a group of legendary creatures in the folklore and tradition of lumberjacks during the 19th and 20th century in North America. The Galapagos is described as looking somewhat between a bear, a panther, and a lion. The Galapagos is also known as a northern devil cat. It is known for its fearsome screech that compares to the cackle of a hyena. The creature is blind and uses its sense of smell as well as sound waves. Looking into the creature's eyes is said to wipe the memory, and it is last seen in 1939 in Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have another couple of photos here I'm going to show you.
All right.
Let's bring up the next one.
All right. So here's your next one.
Now, this, at first glance made me think lamb, but with a longer tail. Now, lambs don't really have a long tail, but, you can tell by the diffuse lighting, it looks like a creature. Look at those ears on it and that long head.
Mm-hmm.
Something like a donkey maybe head, but those long ears, remind me something of like something that does got to listen to hear things, because it's either using it for hunting or to hear predators coming toward it. And then we have another photo. I'm going to use the term alleged, where a gentleman had cornered this Galapagos in one of the counties of Connecticut and killed it. Now look at this thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's got stripes on it like it's an ambush predator. Look at those ears, that long drawn snout, and the tail. I mean, I don't know. It looked posed to me like maybe somebody set it up and made a stuffed carcass of something.
Could be.
But it's hard to say. But the last time, like I say, this creature was known to be about was in 1939. And hyenas are not native to North America at all. The only way you're going to get a hyena running around in North America is if somebody is let them loose, especially if it's a mating pair. Then you might have a hyena.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just one of those unknown creatures that we don't really know anything about. But it was just interesting that, I found this one photo where this was allegedly killed by a hunter out in the boondocks because it was on a terror spree in one of the counties of Connecticut. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Now, isn't there a group, a band known as the Melonheads? Well, this is what we got. The Melonheads are found in Fairfield County, Fairfield / New York border. A local legend describes small humanoids with disappointingly large heads, sometimes described as feral, inbred family. Through this legend is sometimes considered a harmful character of the real, less dramatic story. Now, let me see if I got some notes under here. No, I don't have the notes. But the thing about the Melonheads is, allegedly, these were children that had encephalitis of their
Encephalitis,
head.
yeah.
Okay, causes swelling of the brain, and it makes their head expand.
That's a infection.
Mm-hmm.
It's an infection of the head.
And these children were in an insane asylum.
Well, that'll cause pressure on the brain and make them behave differently.
And then supposedly, something happened in this asylum where patients escaped. And so they're saying allegedly these children escaped from the asylum, went into the woods, and where they live today, inbreeding, and they're now the large heads are a result of the inbreeding.
There's a lot of weird people in Connecticut, so.
Yes. Let's show up some of the other photos that we got.
All right, here we go.
All right, here's another example. But look at the clothing. You know what that makes me think right off the top of my head? Grays.
Okay.
Alien grays.
Could be.
It could be a misrepresentation. Maybe people are seeing, there's small grays, there's medium grays, there's large grays in the alien culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if somebody didn't misrepresent these things with grays. from the UFO culture.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's a possibility because I don't think children could survive that long in Connecticut's weather. I think they would die out. I don't see them as being tool makers, being able to hunt and kill. They might get enough vegetables and roots, but eventually they would die out. I think these are misrepresentations for aliens, possibly. All right, we're going to move on to our next thing. There's the Lordship Mermaids from Stratford.
All right.
Early 20th century reports from the Stratford Point lighthouse keeper who claimed to see mermaids in the water. Now, I have a little information on that. The Lordship Mermaids are a local Connecticut urban legend centered on sightings near the Stratford Point Lighthouse in the Lordship neighborhood of Stratford, Connecticut. In the early 1900s, the lighthouse keeper reported regular sightings of mermaids, making it a prominent piece of local folklore. Key aspects of the Lordship Mermaid legend. Location. The sighting specifically took place near the Stratford Point Lighthouse. Witnesses. A respected lighthouse keeper in the 20th century reported seeing the creatures. Content. The tale is part of a broader collection of Connecticut coastal legends and cryptid stories. Significance. The story is featured in the New England Legends and a podcast about it. So, we've got a few ideas there. It could be Aquaman's mother.
How do they breathe?
They got gills.
Okay.
They got them on, from what I understand, either they're along their neck so they can breathe, and also they can come up. They're like amphibians.
I'm thinking those are like ribs right there. They look like gills, but they're ribs.
Yeah, or it could be gills
Next to her flotation devices.
Yeah, it could be gills there too. It depends. We've never captured. Allegedly, we've never captured one or found one. Allegedly, even on the internet, there are photos which allegedly show mermaids or mer creatures out there until somebody stops playing games with us and tells the truth. It's allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hard to say. I got two more for us. You ever hear of the rake? Not the type that you rake the ground with?
Like his fingers are the rake right there?
No, it's the creature itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his fingers. Maybe that's how he got his name. It looks like he's raking the ground.
The rake, or the pale crawler, is a statewide creature. Reports of a gray-white humanoid creature with sharp claws and glowing eyes, frequently described in modern creepypasta legends, with sightings reported in Connecticut. Now, here's a little info I found on it. The rake, also known as the pale crawler, is a famous internet horror creature, creepypasta, characterized as a pale, hairless, emaciated humanoid with long limbs, sharp claws emerging around 205-206. The entity is described as stalking, paralyzing, and sometimes attacking victims, often appearing at the foot of beds or in wilderness areas. Key aspects of the rake pale crawler. Origin. The creature is described origin on 4chan and developed through creepypasta forums, sharing similarities with the skinwalkers, and Wendigo. Appearance. Pale, often naked or hairless skin, elongated limbs, and large, dark, or glowing eyes. Behavior. Known for stalking or sitting at the foot of a bed, sometimes leaving victims with psychological trauma. Yeah, you sit at my bed, you're going to get a mag dump. Sightings. While largely considered internet fiction, numerous real-life encounters are reported on forums like Reddit's cryptids, often describing it as a fast, intelligent, and terrifying creature in woodland or rural areas. Cultural impact. The rake is a staple online horror, with some suggesting it was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft or influenced by the creation of SCP-096, which I'm not sure. That's about it. I'm not going to go any further because the rest of it's just mumble jumbo.
Got it.
But I will say this. When I went on that Bigfoot expedition, a couple of the guys that I was working with, they encountered a rake in the forest out in the forest, and they described it very similar to this. So it is either a creature of horror or it's a large gray. Because, large grays show up in your bedroom sometimes to take you away or bring you back from the mothership. Not saying that it is, but it's always a possibility. And they do have long fingers, which could be misconstrued as claws.
Makes sense.
All right, the last one is Green Lady of Burlington, a ghost or spectral entity tied to local cemetery hauntings and sometimes described as a creature of local lore. I got a little bit of info on her.
What do you got?
Let me scroll down here a minute. The Green Lady is a common ghost figure in Scottish, Welsh, and American folklore, often depicted as a woman in a green dress haunting castles or forests, sometimes protecting a household or searching for her lost children. Famous sightings occur at Crathis Castle, including a babe holding a baby, Stirling Castle, a maid to Mary Queen of Scots, and through the Chateau de Brissac in France. Key associations and legends: Crathis Castle, Scotland; Stirling Castle, the Chateau de Brissac. Other locations found in tales at the Tulloch Castle, Sifilferi Castle, and nature-related spirit. An appearance typically seen wearing green, sometimes appearing as a mist or leaving the scent of rose petals. In some legends, the Green Lady is a protecting spirit, while in others she is a tragic figure forced to wander due to violent or sudden death. So it's amazing what was brought over from England.
Seems very...
Or the English Isles.
Seems Catholic. I bet you there's a saint rolled into that somehow.
Maybe. Be something I'd have to look into in the future.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to roll it up with tonight. What do you think about some of this stuff tonight, Ed?
I don't know. You always could have wandering, glowing green women and people with long fingers. But I believe there's something to the Sasquatch, Yeti, Bigfoot phenomenon. I really think there is, because it's sort of like the flood. Mm-hmm. It's like the same story in all these different cultures, all the way across.
Exactly.
So,
it may be told a little different, but the basis is always the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's either the Babylonian theory, where everybody was scattered when they were trying to build the Tower of Babel, or everybody experienced something similar.
Yeah. It's always something weird.
All right, folks, we're going to sign off from Pickens tonight, and we're going to work on the bonus episode where we're going to talk about megalodons, the giant sharks of the deep. Do they exist? All right, folks, we're signing off from Pickens, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode, the bonus episode. Night, folks.